Good
Welcome.
afternoon. My name's Ryan Willard, architect for Thinking Hand Studio. I'm here with Roman Hetzko.
Roman, yes.
Roman, sorry, and we're here with his carpentry company called Moorhair. And I'm just here looking at the work, and it's absolutely stunning, beautifully crafted, geometrical pieces with a very beautiful kind of philosophical story behind the generation of the geometries. And I was going to ask you a few questions about how did you get started in doing this, and a little bit about the background behind the company, and even what you were just saying about the name, where the name came from.
Yeah, so, well, it's always like post-graduating college, I was always like, well, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to just work it out as an architect and then just do it through the office and do amazing works just like Frank Lloyd Wright or Antonio Gaudí? Those are some of my favorites always throughout the time, or the Renaissance masters and Egyptians and whatnot. And really, it's like this is like a 2008 resolution after a lot of our market kind of collapsed.
Yeah.
A lot of our jobs were taken away, and I was kind of sent out there into the world to go fish. And I went back to my design build capabilities, and I realized that it's like actually really rewarding. And throughout these journeys and those years of hardship and not being able to find a job,
You got connected with
I
something.
started reading books, and I found the Flower of Life, the Sacred Geometry kind of books, and wow, that really started taking me places. And also like freelancing for engineering companies, that really freed up the space of my creation. I was getting bored, and I started doing furniture in the streets of Queens,
Nice.
which then turned into some philosophies from college and old, like which is gold mean based type of that's how we're taught. We know the golden ratio with the Fibonacci, and that really nicely molded into the first creation of the credenzas, which are my first works, which then evolved into this into the chairs.
So should we have a look at the chairs?
Yeah, so the chairs are pretty much taken from this screw concept, and this is the seat of life. You can Google any information on it.
Yeah.
Actually, like even if you take just the line from this angle to this, that's already a sine, cosine.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 triangles. So just literally within 7 points, you already have technically algebra, all the basic equations of algebra. And so this chair here is actually a deconstructed screw.
Got it.
And I said, okay, well, if this thing's so powerful, let's see if I can make a chair out of it.
Yeah.
And like actually build a concept out of it. So there's 3 general shapes. There's more like a triangular shape like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then as you guys can see, here's that screw motion, and if you take the outer radius, so actually if you take 5 of these chairs, they create a perfect circle. Because they're all like 72 degrees or something, times 5, which is pretty much the 380.
Yeah.
And then there's like this mid shape. Here's like it all started out with the metallic plate, so there's like this mid shape, so it's quite a little bit flared out. And then I have like the plate shape, which is like a full, kind of omit the dust please, but this shape is more fully, this is like my foyer chairs. So the idea is
so you're actually folding these pieces as well?
yeah, I put a little bend on it. There's a very slight bend on it that you can barely notice. And the idea for that is that it's not as spongy also, so it's a little, you kind of create like a beam effect with it, a slight one. Which I don't even know if it's necessary for 3/16 inch steel, but I did it. Because I didn't think it was going to be, for some reason when I made these chairs, I knew so little about making chairs that I thought it was such a fragile product that I'm creating that I was already overthinking it to the point where now I see I didn't have to probably do that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad I did it anyways. I think it's a good move. No, so I make the screws. You start by making the screws. If you can master a screw, then you can probably master a lot of other components. And
so it's almost like you've got a kind of, like you were saying, like a modular set of components here, bringing life to these. You kind of got different chairs with pieces that are interchangeable, and that using that geometry from the beginning to keep on generating more and more different forms and.
Right. No, and definitely. I mean, I think life is modular. It's objects that are put together to make a whole reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts with a cell, and we have trillions of cells. that even if you take to the microscope, none of them touch each other. They're just like held there by vibration and some kind of a consciousness of an order of being. And so, but now all of a sudden here's this body around us, and it's all components. And I think like one of these chairs, I think this one, that's the flute chair. Like, the reason I call it flute is because it does kind of look like a flute rocking chair a little bit. So it's got this very intricate mechanism to it, and it adjusts. And so I call this one the flute, and this is 57 parts. This chair alone. And with the screws, like 10 screws that you can see just right off the bat, a couple wood opponents, and a lot of brasserie.
How long does a piece like this take?
This is what I call my like a 2-week chair, which is I'm thinking like 2.5 weeks. I think it's about 125 hours even after you really get it moving.
Right.
Which is not by the market terms a easy chair to make, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think the easier chairs are like more like 25 hour chairs, or like more what seems to be like the threshold for a. But regardless, it's not about that at the end of the day.
And how did you like using it's brass that you're using?
Yeah, this is brass, cherry, and rusted metal. And actually the two metals are supposed to resemble the night sky. So the darkness, either the blackened metal or the rusted metal is supposed to be kind of like that dark voidness, the void in a vast space.
Yeah.
And then the brass is supposed to be like the shiny objects of like the stars, the light. And then the wood is supposed to be the one earth organic element of like oxygen atmosphere where things grow and explode.
Nice.
So that's why I use 3 materials, and that's what's anchoring that side of the philosophy. The flower of life is anchoring another side of the philosophy, and it's like this kind of mixture of how.
And does this come from a sort of your own personal spiritual background, or
there is some
inquiry?
spirituality that's involved for sure. It's not just coming out of. I mean that is something that I've been like interested in, Egyptians and sacred geometries and arts. I've always had like an intuitive feel to it, to the point where I didn't even understand it, but I knew it came from a different source of consciousness and power.
Yeah.
And it's always been like this mystery to like unfold it, unwrap it, and it's almost like like whether it's healthy or bad madness that it possesses. It's possessive.
And what's the kind of like the experience that you're looking for people who would buy this or own this?
The experience I'm looking for is that it's ever changing, and it's not just like a object. It actually lives and evolves with you. I think these chairs are they got so much going on that every day, or maybe every minute that you look at it, it will look different to you. And because it does to me. Yeah. And it is, and that's how I judge whether this is a kind of like okay dud or a great piece.
Yeah.
And if I still like it in 69 months, I'm like, okay, I'm onto something.
Cool.
It's got something good going on.
No, I mean they're hypnotic, they're captivating, kind of like those, like we were talking about, those kind of Islamic geometries, which are very sort of, they draw you in, and you have that kind of connection with them, and there's something that sort of sings about it when you start generating objects from those kinds of origins and patterns. That can be quite.
Yeah, and it's very modern, but it's also very traditional. I think it's got a lot of flavors to it. I think it kind of links everything in this world today, whatever order you want it to be, because I think once you go into that golden ratio sacred geometry order, you don't really classify it as, oh, okay, what is this, postmodern, neoclassical modern?
Yeah.
It just becomes its own it.
Yeah.
And then you can just classify whatever you want. So this could be called probably mid-century modern, most likely, because that era is going to last for probably many more centuries.
And
to come.
all the joints, all the details, everything's so beautifully expressed. Like you could sort of.
That's the idea, is that the eye has to flow between moments. So another one is if you take it in section, elevation, or plan, the idea is like it's very, very cognitive that the chair kind of has this folding motion, the wood portions. So the wood has this kind of peculiar flow from the back spine
Yeah.
to as you sit to the legs, and then the legs kind of take over. And the idea is also like I want the placement into the ground to be very aggressive. It's meaning it's almost like people are afraid to sit on it because they don't even feel like they're sitting on a.
So it's quite
They
fragile.
think it's fragile looking, but
Yeah.
it's quite the opposite. They're very geometrically placed, and it's not. It's a chair. You can, like, I don't care how much you weigh.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Probably unless you're like 2 tons or something. So it's very durable, and it's and it's just time will tell like what these really are meant to be, and where they go. But right now it's like this explosion of already 20 chairs I mean I just do one chair and I think like, whoa, I'm so happy, but it's actually worse because it already makes 20 more available.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It just
okay,
keeps on. It just keeps on like generating
multiplying
and
and
generating.
multiplying, yeah, just like the whole, and there just seems to be no end in sight. So I already have like probably like a couple dozen prototypes for different backers that kind of happen, which are all like, you know, you're taking it one step at a time. At first you do the seat cushion, then you go into the legs, and you go into the back mechanism, and then you're like, okay, well, how does the back interact with all the initial? And there's just like this. Is this it? And when is this thing complete? When is it complete? Like, is there more to do?
Yeah.
And then finally, you just kind of let it go, and you realize that the best way to solve that question is just to create like a bunch of different, you know, backer concepts or things that just keep it preoccupied.
Yeah.
All sorts of different shapes and kind of explorations and different. This one's really weird. It's almost like a plane wing or something. And I even thought maybe about moving these ends. So
Yeah,
it could
or like
be
vertebrae. Or
yeah, it could be like a vertebrae or maybe like a massage, so you could like actually set up your chair to where you could like itch your back a certain way or something if you
And
had
you were
to.
showing me on this one. This one's actually got moving components
Yeah,
to
and
it.
then this one is it is the rocker. So this is the back and forth motion. So it's got the little moving components of. So the idea is like when you sit on it, it's like a comfy little.
Nice.
So you do things and you just move on to the next chair. So you spent 6 months per chair usually. It's going a little bit quicker now, but these are about 9-month design development phases. Even this one, or these two.
Right. Okay.
These are
So
kind of like
nine months design development, and then the fabrication is 125.
Yeah, once you get it kind of clicking and you figure out all of your, you know, you realize like the metal's gonna have to be inserted in between, because it's gonna have to be structural for that spring mechanism. And then you go with you play with the geometry / weight ratio.
Yeah.
And then you just see like what you can pull off with this idea. And this is all Fibonacci curves. Right there, those are all like dissected Fibonacci curves. So nothing is just like a perfect circle. This is actually a Fibonacci that just spirals back into the center point again.
Yeah.
And that's how these are designed. It's like a Fibonacci spherical sequence / flower of life / golden ratios, which is the same 1 versus 0.618.
Amazing.
And it just keeps going. And then that's how I try to, or not try, but that's how I separate that's how I make decisions and know if I'm in the right direction or not when I'm stuck.
And who are your clients? Who are the kind of people that really like get up on this kind of stuff?
I mean, the clients seem to be artists, which is people that are already like pretty already knowledgeable, and they feed off this type of source of inspiration.
Yeah.
And so really, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's artists and architects are the biggest clients for this so far, and people that would like really know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
Connoisseurs.
but from the shows that I've done, I would say that all walks of life are clients. There's people just get inspired by things that resonate within them, and
Yeah.
and that's what it's doing to me, and that's what I think is happening to doing 4 trade shows now. That's what's happening to the people that do experience these pieces, whether it's the chairs or or the table or the.
Can we have a quick look at the table?
So so the table idea with it is that also the screws come and penetrate the top of the surface, and these are going on a grid with the credenzas that I've created.
Yeah.
The credenzas have a certain square versus golden ratio movement to it, so this is where the layout for the table happens.
So if people want to find out more about your work and your stuff, what's the best thing for
Yeah,
them to do?
so you can just go on my website at mor-he.com.
Great.
Morehead.com, and it's More Art Tectonics. Art Tectonics means architecture in Latin or in Egyptian. It's the tectonics of art, and the idea is actually it's kind of like more heart tectonics, more. It's like maybe less brain, more. It's just like 2-3 birds with one stone with the name.
Cool.
And yeah, that's. I mean, I didn't even think of it like that. It just ended up being like that. But it's like definitely means more heart tectonics. So.
Love it. Nice one. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Roman.
No, pleasure.
Nice one.
Naked on the floor, but it's alright.
These lines are huge to me.
You out of time. See, just can't help myself. To me, you're an imprisoned shrine.